HP sauce. Oh, I'll tell you what's a good idea. Well, let's do a mug. What?
Hey, well, you can't say it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was a present actually.
who gets an HP mug in marketing? What a good idea. We'll get some mugs out there. That's an instant win.
Well, I think it's fine because obviously there's a demand for it.
One.
Yeah. Still
I didn't say great demand. I just said a demand.
It's
So
great
it's
for
literally
aggressive.
a demand.
Well, if Sports Direct see that, they're gonna up the game. I think.
Yeah, they're going to go. We need bigger mugs.
Yeah. Well, if Mark Ashley wasn't one of them, they'd stick a handle on the size of a wheelie bin.
Review of last week's games.
Think all the way back to last Thursday. We saw the New York Giants lose at home to what was a bit of a shock result. They lost to the Dallas Cowboys, of all teams.
Well, they had to win one, didn't they? I suppose, Dallas.
Well, the Giants had just come off the back of a win. You know, who saw that coming? None of us did.
No.
It's just one of those freak results, isn't it? It's like, when the Patriots won and the Panthers won. It's one of those games where he just comes out of nowhere. Sometimes everything goes your way. Two bad teams battling it out.
I agree.
The way it goes.
Yeah, the poor teams, aren't they? You know how poor they are. Washington's like the best team in the East at the moment. But I do, I don't like Cowboys. No one does. But I'm equally like the same with the Giants. Them two, I hate both of those teams. But I've got a few injuries out at the moment. DeMarcus Lawrence is on IR. I think he's going to miss a minimum of 4. Micah Parsons, I think, is he injured?
I don't know. He went off briefly during that game, but I think he came back on.
Yeah, they've just bit of news for you now. They've just signed pass rusher KJ Henry on a 2-year deal. They took him off the Bengals squad, and he played for Washington last season. He had 1.5 sacks, so he's going to help a shit Cowboys team.
That breaking news or just news?
Yeah, unfortunately, you didn't say breaking news.
No, that's fine.
Which means I haven't had the opportunity to insert the breaking news thing.
No, they're not with it. It's Cowboys, not with that.
True.
Oh, okay. We won't even consider it news then.
No. But they're KJ Henry, who basically played around about 20 snaps, I think, last season for Washington, and that's when we had Chase Young out and Montez Sweat both traded away.
What's KJ stand for? I reckon it's Keith Jeremiah.
It's actually Kenny Jackson.
Oh, that's a shame.
Or is it? I don't know.
But the only shining point again for the Giants was Neighbours, and I think he went off with a concussion, didn't he? So that could spell doom for him.
Well, it's no surprise they got very little going without him.
No,
or with him, to be honest, but practically nothing without him.
Well, the thing with Dallas is that they've had really sort of poor run blocks.
Fans?
Well, yes, there's that as well. And I thought really that the blueprint to beat them was to just put it on the floor. And I think Singletary, who I had in a fantasy football team and put him in, I think he only went for about 20 yards or something daft like that. So obviously nothing on the floor.
Yeah, if we're aware of it, though, if we're aware that Dallas need to stuff the line a bit, then they've got to be aware. Even the Cowboys must be aware of it. Saints at Falcons was a surprisingly good game. It was very close. Falcons nicked it right at the end with a field goal from Koo, who is the best kicker, the best kicker in football.
Yes.
It was the longest in the. Well, here's your ground quiz. What's the ground called? Something dome. I don't know. It was the longest ever seen there and the longest of his career. And what a time to do it as well.
I don't think it's the Iron Dome.
Probably not.
But it used to be the Georgia Dome, didn't it?
It did.
I don't know what it's called this week.
Is it not the Mercedes something? Is that?
Oh, it
might be the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Can we give a shout out to the much maligned by us, Kirk Cousins, because the second time in 3 games, he's led a last-minute drive down the pitch to get the win for the Falcons.
Didn't score an offensive touchdown, though.
No, but they that drive at the end when you're against the clock.
Yeah,
I think there were no timeouts, and to get them in field goal range within like 30 odd seconds or something.
Something daft like that.
Yeah.
No, it was good, but I think against any other team, they'd have been out of sight already. They wouldn't have been able to get it. But credit to him, he did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Also, I've got a question, a genuine question.
Oh, it's another quiz.
No, a genuine question. This tagged as one of the best quarterbacks to ever coming out on a draft. Bijan Robinson. Not really turned up, has he?
Running backs.
Yeah, you said quarterbacks. That's through me.
Oh, yeah, but I would never have got that one right. I wouldn't have got that one right in this quiz.
He was he was really sort of hyped up before the draft, and last year, again, I don't think he did much, did he?
He was decent last year.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you look at the 1-2 punch at running back that they've got and compare it to what Detroit have got, there's a world of difference in the damage that they're doing from running back.
Yeah, Detroit's far better, you mean?
Yeah, but Robinson went ahead of Gibbs in the draft.
Yeah.
And everyone said, even at 15 or something, where Gibbs went, everyone said that was too high. But no one questioned Robinson's
that's right.
draft position.
He was the go-to guy, wasn't he? Just looking at his stats, he against Saints, he carried it only 7 times for 28 yards. Against Kansas, he carried it 16 yards for only 16 times for 31 yards, which is under 2 yards a carry, which is not him at all. Then he had 97 against Philadelphia, but that's low against the Philadelphia poor defense. Then against Pittsburgh, he got 68 yards. So it's not any blockbuster games there, really. 97 yards maybe, but only 1 touchdown as well. It's I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Bijan Robinson, to be fair.
No.
The Rams, they haven't got many players left, have they, at the moment?
No, struggling.
I was watching their game, and the first thing I did when I saw their game on Sunday, someone was getting carted off. I can't remember who it was, but I just thought, yeah, that's them this year. That's all they're going to have.
It's the division, though, isn't it? They've got injuries. 49ers have got injuries, but 49ers players are now coming back, but Rams have been hammered.
But the Bears won again, and still not looking good. But they're looking better, aren't they? Yeah. They're looking better.
They're improving week on week. They've done the Washington approach. I think Washington first 2 games at season, they just let Jaden Daniels throw it around the line of scrimmage, flats, screens, slants, quick slants. Then they've opened the playbook now to Jaden Daniels. And I think they've started doing that now with Caleb Williams. He's just having a feel for the first 2-3 games. And I think slowly but surely he's getting better. I know he only threw 357 yards, but I think some signs there of him getting a little bit better.
He seems to have linked up with his receivers better.
Yes.
He doesn't seem to be panicking as much. He seems to be a bit calmer. He's dropping back. One thing I noticed he did this week, which I hadn't seen him do before, he threw the ball away at one point.
Yeah, he did.
And I thought, I don't think he'd done that. It's like week 4, and that's the first time I've seen him do that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, yeah, he's learning.
Also, I think they've definitely worked on the red zone offense because they looked as though they got a plan this time rather than just,
Well, it still took into the second half of their 4th game before they scored a red zone touchdown.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm a bit surprised about with Chicago, and again, maybe because they're now opening the playbook, we'll see more of it, is they've got some good players out on offense, like receiving wise, DJ Moore. I've always rated him as a great wide receiver. Roman Odunze, he seems to be linking with him a bit more. Cole Kmet is a good tight end, I think. Then you've got that experience like Keenan Allen, who's been around the blocks, but it's still a good.
Keenan Allen's a brilliant 1 year signing. They've got him for 1 year.
Yeah,
A perfect signing for a rookie quarterback coming in.
yeah,
Have
I
someone
agree.
like him as a target. That's such a good signing.
These sort of names, like DJ Moore, that I've heard of them, but they always seem to be really unspectacular names. They never be high up in a draft, but they've obviously been around for a while. They obviously know what they're doing.
Well, Keenan Allen has.
He's probably must be getting towards his mid-30s now. Must be, and he's at the Chargers for ages, and he's been their go-to number one receiver for 5 years, or pretty much all of Justin Herbert's career, anyway. Okay, so one game that we all said was going to be a close one, Vikings at Packers, and it was, but it didn't look like that for most of the game, did it? It looked like it was going to be one-way traffic. Vikings won 31-29, but I think they were 28-0 up.
Yeah, 28-7 at half time, I think it was as well.
Absolutely came out of the traps, but the wheels seemed to fall off a little bit.
And let's address the elephant in the room here. Sam Darnold. Is this the Sam Darnold we've been waiting for, or are we still waiting for Sam Darnold's wheels to fall off?
I think, I don't know, it's only because I've never seen a good Sam Darnold before. So this just feels weird. But second half, Sam Darnold was Sam Darnold that we've seen before. It's the guy in the first half I don't recognise.
I was looking at his receiving targets at Vikings, and there's something, definitely a pattern here. His top 6 targets, 5 of them have the initial J.
When you say you found something there, is it? I think it's called you found a coincidence.
Yeah, as well as. How coincidental is that?
It's quite coincidental. That's the main thing about it, is that it's coincidental. You know, if all 6 of them had an initial starting with J, you know what that would be? Even more coincidental.
Even more. Big up for Packers wide receiver. Who's that? Is that Josh Reed?
Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed. Yeah, 7 of 8 targets he caught, 139 yards and a touchdown. It seems to have a good link with Jordan Love, which bodes well for the future.
It was good to see Jordan Love come back. Not just from my fantasy football point of view, but also as a fan of the NFL. It was good to see him come back. And after a very shaky first half, he looked back to his best in that second half. He was really good.
Yeah, they cost me there. I honestly thought Packers would be good enough to get past the Vikings team, which I thought Darnold would start showing signs of decreasing play, but fair dues to him. He's playing
Maybe
well.
he did. Maybe he started that decline in the second half.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, should we skip the next game? Okay, Broncos at Jets. No, all right. Steelers at Colts. The Colts won 27-24.
Now,
that again weren't as close as that.
What the score you think is?
It wasn't, because we were 2 scores behind in the last minute, and we scored a touchdown. And although we did get the ball back, so we did have a chance to do something, but it didn't work. That was an atrocious first half. We gave up 21 points in the first half.
Very unlike Pittsburgh.
It was, I think I said, because we were talking while we were watching the game, that we lost we were without Alex Highsmith. And I think if we lose any cog in our defense, the whole unit just seems to not be quite as good. It seems that we've got, particularly the front 7, you look at that and you go, if they're all there, they're good. As soon as any of them go, it seems to become far weaker than losing one player should be.
Yeah.
But
TJ Watt was very quiet.
He wasn't one of his better, but they did quite well. They Jonathan Taylor, who I'm a big fan of, was fucking great. But annoyingly, see, even though we were shit, particularly in the first half, we did one thing which I hate when we lose games, particularly by 3 points, like in this instance, where we've left points on the field. We had a Pickens fumbled inside the 5-yard line, and you lose by 3, and you've probably arguably lost 7 points there, or 3 points at the minimum, and you've lost by 3. Even in a game you've played badly, we could have come out with something. But one of those games we deserved to lose and lost.
I got some breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Hang on a second. Breaking news.
So it's not actually in the NFL now, but on about any violations, we always come up with who's got shot or anything this week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just in literally 5 minutes
Justin
ago,
Jefferson.
Not quite him, but just in his former NFL and Green Bay Packers running back Eddie Lacy. Remember Eddie?
Oh, okay. I remember him.
Yeah, he's arrested on DUI charges and possession of an open container of alcohol inside a vehicle on Monday night in Scottsdale, Arizona. After an investigation, Lacey was placed on under arrest and charged with 4 different DUI. Now, is that drunk under influence, driving under influence?
Driving under influence, yeah.
Sort violations, including extreme DUI.
Cagney and Lacey.
Just going back onto the Steelers then really quickly. You're
the one who took us away from the Steelers.
Oh yeah. You, along with Washington and I can't remember the other team, but apparently in possible talks with the Raiders, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that was one of the names mentioned in the summer as well. There were 3 or 4 names mentioned because it's an open secret that we'll take another wide receiver because we've got Pickens and then we've got whoever else. We haven't got a WR2.
Yeah.
But everything is on Pickens at the minute. If we can get Devontae Adams, I'll take him. I'm calling it maybe the shock result of last weekend. Broncos winning at the Jets in what was an absolute shit show of a game.
Was it 9-8?
It was 10-9 to the
10-9.
Broncos. But it's easy to say, haha, let's all laugh at the Jets because most people, that happens most of the time, most seasons. The conditions played a part in this one, I think.
It was
both teams. For both teams.
For both teams, yeah. But when it comes down to kicking at the end and you've got to kick a game-winning field goal in a fucking storm.
Yeah. I felt sorry for Rodgers because I thought he'd done ever so well to sort of get him up and running again. And I think he was let down. There was a lot of drop passes. Garrett Wilson is a fucking dick.
He's been rotten this year.
He has.
Him and Bruce Hall have both been terrible this year so far.
Great Bruce Hall, yeah. I've dropped him straight out of my team. He's awful, isn't he, Bruce Hall? I think he ran for a loss, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken? 10 attempts for 4 yards.
Oh, right. So at one point he had like 5 for -2.
Yeah, so he's finished with 10 attempts, 4 yards, so he's averaged 0.4, his longest of 3.
I felt sorry for Rodgers because once he was in the groove, you felt they were going to do something to get the chance to have the field goal in the first place. I thought he did really well, but
when he got them into field goal range, that was classic Aaron Rodgers. That was like when he got the ball with like 90 seconds left, on his own 20, and he's got to get into field goal range, and he just does that. That's the easiest thing in the world for Aaron Rodgers is to get them into field goal range in that situation. And more than any other player, I think I would rely on Aaron Rodgers to be able to do that still. With
some half-competent receivers, though, they could have got an extra 15, 20 yards, which made it a bit more of a chip shot, which obviously would have probably won the game. But yeah, I just felt sorry for him. Other than that,
But to be fair, Ed, you're right. He's pinning the loss on his back. Is Aaron Rodgers? He said the loss was on him. No, he had 42 attempts, completed 24 of them for 225 yards, sacked 5 times. The lack of running game for New York's cost him this game. Allen, he's got 34. Aaron Rodgers ran for 26 yards.
I was just going to say, I remember him making a few.
Yeah, and if you've not got a run game going in this sort of weather, you can't rely on someone kicking a ball through the uprights in what we said are atrocious conditions. The running game needs to improve. The line needs to improve for the Jets, and that's what cost them big time. we can just go back to Bo Nix as well. I think at half time, I think he was on negative yardage again.
Yeah.
Wasn't it minus 18?
I wrote
Something
this
like
down.
that.
So at half time, he was 7 completions from 15 for -7 yards. How is that even possible?
Yeah,
I know how it's possible, but
Well, you know what I said earlier about last year, one of the best passers for completions was Russell Wilson at the Broncos. It's doing shitloads of screen passes. That's what it is.
and then being tackled for loss. Yeah. Okay.
Some good news out of this game, though. Also for
Is this breaking good news?
it's not. It actually come out yesterday. I think it was.
Oh, fuck
Just news.
The running back, that Beardy, who got hit and he face masked into the floor.
Yeah.
He then went to the sideline and collapsed.
You pronounce it B-Day, apparently.
Is what?
You pronounce it B-Day.
B-Day. Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, come on, you just been in Italy, for fuck's sake.
Well, if you had an L on end, it would be deal.
Skinner.
But good news.
That language on here, you can.
but good news is he went off and it was with a back injury. Peyton didn't say anything after the game about his condition, but he's come out and saying he now has feeling in all his extremities, which is a great American word, extremities. Has all his feeling in his extremities and he's back with the team. So hopefully he'll come back soon.
Have they said what it was?
I think what had happened was he just
probably his neck, top of his back.
Yeah, I think it was, and it's just shut down some of his system.
Because he took a hit, didn't he? And then he was sort of off the field anyway for the next 2 or 3 plays.
That's right.
It was only about sort of 5 minutes after.
Yeah.
And then he just had this sort of fit or this episode on the side.
It's probably nerve damage.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
That can't be good for you, I'm sure.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I think it was his nerve damage.
You're not professional. You're very much amateur in that field, aren't you?
So just going back to Bo Nix then, he thinks what he can do passing the first half, he can do running. So he had 5 attempts at rushing for 3 yards. But no doubt, I think he'll be kneeling down with it at the end there anyway. He had in total 4 passes that went for -6 as well, which is never great.
Rather than the non-passing passes.
Yeah, I'm just going to. Apart from, I think is it called Cortland Sutton?
Sutton.
Yeah,
he got 3 catches for 60. Then after that, it's rather depressing. You've got Burton's got one for 3.
After that, it's quite depressing.
Yeah,
start with something quite depressing and then move down.
Well, it is, isn't it? If that's your best one, who's got 3 receptions for 60 yards, then Burton's got 1 for 3. Williams has got 2 for 3. McLaughlin got 1 for nothing. Franklin's got 2 for -2. And B-Day has got 2 for -4.
Eagles are Bucks. Another one that we all got wrong. But we all got it wrong, I think, for the right reasons. In the Bucks have been absolutely rotten the week before. But they were back to how they'd started the season. They destroyed the Eagles. They were really good again. So someone I saw after 2 weeks said Baker Mayfield's going to be the MVP this year. And I laughed, but he's played MVP football in 3 of the first 4 games.
I think it showed more than anything that the result last week for Tampa was the exception that proves the rule. They were back to their consistent best, but the Eagles were so poor.
But this is the first time they've so who have they beat now? They've beaten obviously the Eagles. They beat the Commanders at the start of the season, who are now 3-1.
Yeah.
And the other, they beat the Lions. So look at those 3 teams that they've beat.
Yeah.
Out of all the 3-1 teams, you've got to say their notches are more impressive than anyone else's on 3-1, I think.
They've deserved every win. It's not like they've been lucky or anything. MVP, yeah.
Well, no one's outstanding so far, are they? There's no one person who's come out fly in and say, look, it's definitely going to be this guy. Like last year, Lamar Jackson started brilliantly and everyone decided he was going to be the MVP by week 7. No one's done that this year. So it is quite open, but it's not going to be Baker Mayfield.
I'm just going on Eagles really quickly. I just think too much has been put on Saquon Barkley, far too much. He's a bit like Malik Neighbours of the Giants. If he's not in the game, they've no chance.
I think
Yeah.
also it doesn't help. Jalen Hurts hasn't been particularly.
No, he's
brilliant
struggling.
either. He is.
Him and Dyke are almost like kind of the same player.
Bradley Dak.
But yeah,
What Barkley probably isn't that pleased about is that after spending years at the Giants, where he's the only good player, he's now gone to the Eagles, where he appears to be the only good player.
apparently news out of Philly is
Breaking news.
Sirianni.
Breaking news.
Apparently Sirianni isn't going anywhere right now. Speculation is going to continue if the Eagles don't stack up wins, but the Eagles have high hopes for the season still. And the head coach change in the middle of the season would be a logistical nightmare. If a change is to come, it would be likely at the end of the season.
So why didn't they do it before the season?
Silly.
Is Burt Bacharach? Is Burt Bacharach going to get back in the game?
No.
Belichick. I mean.
Is it weird you said Burt Bacharach and I knew who you meant?
No,
Is that
coincidence, all those bees.
I reckon Burt Bacharach will remain. He's really good doing the analysis stuff on TV.
Yeah.
He's really good at that, and it's one of those things where you can see why he was a successful coach because he gets
his analysis is really good.
He gets it over really clearly. Why this is good and why this is bad, and you go, yeah, that makes sense.
I think he plays his sort of persona well as well.
I don't think he's playing that persona. I think he is a miserable bastard.
Yes, probably is right. Yeah.
He's the Van Morrison of the NFL.
But what they're saying is for Burt is his team would be if Dallas doesn't get into the playoffs, he's going to end up at the Cowboys.
Well, this was touted at the beginning of the season.
No, I thought it was never going to happen because of Jerry Jones.
Jerry, that's it. That's the problem, isn't it? If Jerry Jones and Burt,
he's not going to go there with Jerry Jones there.
No.
Breaking news.
Just going back to the Davante Adams debacle.
You can't go back to breaking news. Breaking news is happening right now.
This is happening right now. So where we thought it was just a rumor and there's a possible trade out. Apparently, Davante Adams will ask and request a trade, with the Raiders seeking a second-round draft pick for him.
Bengals won.
I don't even know where
the Bengals won a game against the Panthers, so the Bengals are no longer winless. Quite a high-scoring affair, but still concerning for the Bengals' defense that the Panthers scored 24 points against them. Bengals' problem isn't their offense, from what I can see. They still have problems, but it doesn't seem to be on that side of the ball.
It was much needed, that's definitely for sure. And I think had they have been against somebody who could have punished them and their mistakes, they would have been 0-4. But luckily, the Red Rifle just wasn't firing.
The Red Rocket?
It's the Red Rifle, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his made-up nickname is. No one ever called him it until 2 weeks ago. So you can call it make up any nickname you want for him.
Yeah.
I think they'd be all right. I think they're going to put up 20, 25 points a game now. Hubbard, over 100 yards rushing, which is no mean feat for the Panthers. I think you should get an award for that if you do anything decent. I do know. I said 6 wins for Panthers. Maybe they won't get to 6 wins, but I think they'll be knocking on 4 or 5 anyway. When they come against teams that are average, I think they've got a chance,
I think the thing about the Panthers is I think they've kind of written off this season earlier than most teams will ever write off a season, which means that their offensive play calling is kind of quite fun. That they've gone, all right, let's try this. And you wouldn't normally because you'd be too concerned about losing a game. Whereas they're going, fuck it, everyone thinks we're going to lose anyway. Yeah. Let's try this stupid play that we designed while pissed at Friday afternoon.
Not pressure, is there?
There's no pressure on them whatsoever, which means that they can go out and play quite fun football, and it's actually quite entertaining for them to watch them at the moment. Their defense is dog shit.
Yeah, awful.
That'll be the end of them for the season.
But yeah, so I can see the red trombone, as he's known, getting a few touchdowns. I can see his stats being quite impressive.
I'll tell you what is also a good sign for the Panthers is the rookie Xavier Leggett.
Can we have that pronunciation again, please?
Okay, Xavier Leggett.
One more time.
Xavier Leggett.
Xavier Leggett. He's French, don't you know? So Xavier Leggett. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
I reckon I got further away with each attempt.
But the good thing is,
or as he's known in France, Le Riffel Rouge.
but what a good thing is now with the red missile thrown to him is we were targeted 10 times this game against the Bengals, and they'd only been targeted 10 times in the last 3 games, 66 yards and a touchdown, his first touchdown. But I think there's some good chemistry there, and I think he could be one to watch now, Xavier Leggett.
Best finish of the week. Jaguars at Texans. I was watching this saying Stroud's been struggling for a couple of games. Then he leads that drive at the end.
Beautiful.
Kirk Cousins-esque drive at the end to win it. Yeah, Texans haven't played well for a couple of weeks, but that was a big win for them.
Yeah, a win is definitely a win, and I don't think they should be too disheartened by the. It was poor, I suppose, from the standards that have been set, but yeah, win was massive
against the Jags as well. So as poor as the Jags have been, that's still a divisional game.
Yeah,
it's known as the Edge Derby, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
They've really gone backwards, haven't they, Jags?
Yeah,
again, it's like the Eagles end last year. Something went wrong, and they haven't been able to turn it around again.
Well, can I just point out a great name for a running back who plays for the Houston Texans? Best name by far is called British Brooks.
Oh, that wasn't as impressive as I thought it was going to be. One that you had to have 8 run-ups at pronouncing.
Oh no!
It's no Xavier Leggett.
No, but British Brooks is had 1 carry for 2 yards against Minnesota in the 34-7 loss to them.
Patriots at 49ers. 49ers got some of their players back, and it showed.
I'll tell you what, you say that, right? I think the Patriots made Brock Purdy work for this, because every time I kind of watched it, he was getting chased around in that pocket a lot, and he made some good plays.
They weren't at their best, but just the fact that he had those offensive weapons available again, and he had Trent Williams back again, and it just made it. By the time the Patriots actually started to come back, wasn't it 33 or something like that? When they actually, it wasn't much of a game. This was over in the first quarter, I think. As soon as 49ers scored first, you go, yeah, that's it.
Well, Mason again on ground's just phenomenal at the minute, isn't he?
Phenomenal.
Easy for you to say.
Phenomenal.
They did revert to form because they had 2 key injuries again, didn't they? Kittle went off.
Kittle went off, but only for I think a few plays.
Yeah. Come back on.
That touchdown, by the way, wow.
Yes. He had a couple of other receptions as well.
Yeah, but that touchdown, what a touchdown that was. A great throw.
It is, but he's up against 3 defenders. He's got...
Yeah.
That's just an amazing reception, that is.
Who's the linebacker?
Warner,
he went off as well. He didn't come back on, I don't think.
Well, was he the one who got the interception?
Yeah.
And actually slower than James Harrison.
Yeah, but some proper blocks on the way, weren't there, for him?
Yeah.
It was really good. But he's a top player as well. That's what I mean about the 49ers. When they're at full strength, you look through that side and there's no weakness there. It's
apparently
whether they can get them on the pitch. Hang on a second. Breaking news.
No, it's not. No, it's
breaking.
Just, no, it's not breaking. CMC is
unbroken news.
Yeah. CMC is come back from Germany, and he's found out that he's got Achilles tendonitis in both legs.
I heard this, yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't bode well.
Well, it
Well-
doesn't, but isn't it because the way he was treated, he was then over relying on his other leg, and he's then
and
caused the
that's
same
exactly
problem
that.
in it.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So what's the
exactly that.
prognosis? Is he out for the season? Or?
No,
Listen, they don't need to rush him back with Jordan Mason, do they?
No,
He's,
definitely not.
you know, he's had 4 games. He's got over 100 yards in 3 of them and 77 in another.
I think with McCaffrey, it's a case of he could come back in a few weeks, but there's a chance of this becoming like a recurring problem.
Yeah.
So I think what they're thinking of doing is possibly him having an operation mid-season and then coming back for like the last possibly 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, a lot of time,
But-
fresh.
Yeah, so if he can, but fresh, but recovering from an injury as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's possibly quite risky to do that. But I think the 49ers are going to be in the playoffs regardless. So I reckon it's a risk worth taking if it means coming back to a fully fit McCaffrey for the playoffs. Okay, a dreadful game. Browns at Raiders. These are 2 bad sides as well, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah,
for every week, I've basically said the Browns, it's their defense that are going to sort of get them any result. And that was
Their defense was all right.
yeah, that kind of worked out this week, but it's not going to work out every week, is it?
where's it gone wrong for Browns? Because Amari Cooper, he's not the Amari Cooper again of like 340, but still decent.
Can I just have a breaking news?
Breaking
News. Yeah. Amari Cooper's one of the wide receivers linked with the Chiefs.
Oh, still decent. I would have thought.
He's
No,
another
they've
one
got
of those
Deshaun
names
Watson.
that gets mentioned but never particularly sounds spectacular.
Well, he was an outstanding wide receiver of years gone by.
I mean, he should be
Right.
still.
Yeah.
There was one play he got wiped out for offensive holding, and I think it was something like an 80-yard touchdown from Watson to Cooper, and it was pulled back, and that would have given the Browns the lead 23-20, but it was wiped off. So possibly they were one foul away from winning that game, but that play stood out because I haven't seen anything else like that from the Browns all season.
And Gardner Minshew still a starting quarterback. No, he's not, is he? For Raiders.
He's a good backup. He can come in for a couple of games, but you don't want him for the whole season.
No.
He just
330 yards and 2 sacks. Apart from that, didn't do anything.
let's not talk about Browns and Raiders anymore because they don't
No, that's
deserve it.
enough.
No.
They don't deserve it.
No.
Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs 4-0 and not very good.
I said this to Daz yesterday or whatever it was. If you imagine like when you're trying to ride a bike slowly and you start wobbling, and you either sort of pick up pace or you fall over, and that's how I've got the feeling about the Chiefs at the moment. That they're not particularly fluid, and something's got to happen. They're either going to kick in or they're going to fall over. That injury to Rice, which potentially might deceive.
That's massive. That
It is massive, but it's the Chiefs, isn't it? They find ways to win.
this hurts them massively though with Rice out. I think they'll struggle now unless they bring someone in.
And it's noticeable that as soon as Rice went off, they started targeting Kelsey again.
Yes.
It's almost like that's all we've got.
Yeah. So Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, both have been intercepted 6 times and their lead the interception race. On his own in third is Patrick Mahomes with 5 interceptions so far.
Very underhanded.
And let's not forget the one that was chalked off.
Exactly that as well. Yeah.
Was that against the Bengals? Yeah, one chalked off, didn't he? Late on Sunday night, the Ravens arrived for the season and the Bills disappeared for the season, both for the first time.
It was quite a commanding. Henry, what was his stat? 199 yards, was it?
Yeah, a first play from scrimmage for the Ravens, and was it 80 odd yards?
Yeah.
87.
Did somebody say it was his longest?
It's the longest run ever by a Ravens player.
That's ridiculous.
But you think there's not much room to do a longer one, is there?
well, no, but
Well,
yeah,
it's always been the thing with Henry though. If he gets up to speed, if he breaks a couple of tackles and gets it to full speed, you cannot stop him.
No.
Is this what you mean by a north-south runner? Because he just goes straight. All right, he jinked a little bit, but just there was a couple of tackles as well where he just threw his arm out, stiff arm, and the defender just folded in half. Like, you're just a beast.
Notorious for that.
Yeah. I think the other impressive thing is that they did all this against an unbeaten Bills team. You know, it wasn't just like, you know, they did it against some also-rans. They went there and they turned up. There was one team that looked unbeaten in that game on Sunday, and it wasn't the Bills.
No, and also the more impressive thing from the Ravens is they shut down the Bills' offense, which had been the number one offense in the first 3 games, and they pretty much completely shut it down. Edgy, you were our man who was watching Titans at Dolphins.
Yeah, thanks.
You were there.
Yeah, well, so I wanted to watch it to see what they were like, and I really regret my decision now because it was an awful game all round. But really, Miami just had no clue. Really, there were a few. I think up until about the third quarter, Tyreek's longest yardage was from a jet sweep. That tells you all you need to know, really. They've also didn't use Achad at all. They used him more of as a receiving back than anything else. Just poor, very poor, and the Titans weren't much better.
What I find weird about the Dolphins this year is for a team who's got a quarterback who's a decent quarterback, but
nothing special.
Injury prone, to seemingly not have any plan for what happens if that quarterback gets injured. It seems very odd that they seem to go, right, our quarterback's out, we don't know what to do anymore. You'd think that'd be something that you'd plan as quite a high possibility of happening this year, but seemingly not.
Given his record of being out, yeah, you're right. It's incredibly short-minded, and it was really obvious. There is no plan, I don't think.
The defense was weak anyway. Even when they've got a fully functional offense, their defense is weak. They're going to lose a lot of games without. If Tua comes back, then it might save their season. If not, they're going to struggle to win any games for the rest of the year. Okay, but the Titans won, and incredibly, they won at the end, being quarterbacked by Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Last game of the week.
2 hours, 48 minutes.
Seahawks at Lions.
It's good to be back. Seahawks at Lions.
I switched over and watched most of it. This was a really good, entertaining game. And I think the score makes it sound as though Seattle were soundly beaten, but it was a close game and still could have been closer were it not for there was pretty much every game this week seemed to be really annoying with penalties, but there were at least 3 occasions where big plays were made to get either into the end zone or the red zone that were then flagged back for fucking stupid 68 million down the field or whatever.
No, the one for the Seahawks was a very stupid one.
Yeah.
Where it was an illegal block, wasn't it? Was it Metcalf?
It was running his route, wasn't he? And it was just
that was a stupid penalty. They're the sort of ones where you just blame the player. That's you can't blame anyone else other than the player for that. What that game was a very good team beating a good team.
Yeah, I agree.
The Lions' offense came out to play for the first time this season, and it reminds you that how good their offense is, or how good it can be.
I'm not sure who the head coach gave the game ball to, but he didn't. He must have given it Jared, wasn't it? Was it okay? Give it to Jamal Williams, and he didn't. Then I think some reporter said, "Oh, but quite surprising you give it. Jared, him going 18 for 18, like nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I didn't have a clue that he went perfect. He didn't have a clue.
Know.
He didn't know.
It's not like he's paying attention or anything, no, is it?
No, why should he?
Random Rookie Roulette. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Random Rookie Roulette. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Random Rookie Roulette.
Rookie of the week, everyone. Chop Robinson played, and he'd done a tackle.
Oh.
Edgy, how did your boy get on?
He was at the game. He was with Steve Young, apparently.
Steve,
That's
where's
true.
Steve tonight, by the way?
It's
Oh,
true. Not Steve. Well, you're not going to believe this breaking news.
Okay.
We've
He's
got
not,
a
is he?
chance of Steve in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
away that week. He can
No,
take
you're
my
joking.
place. It's all right.
Yeah, we're going to need someone to come in.
Well, yeah, I'll be honoured if he wants to come and take my place that night. But yeah, he was with Ricky at the weekend, and then Ricky and his wife went out to buy some socks.
I heard Ricky was spotted at Sports Direct buying some new trainers, but they can't remember if he actually remembered to take the box with him or not.
That's generally it.
Okay,
Was
so
that-
Daz, what you got one tackle to beat. How
Yeah,
did
well-
Peyton Wilson get on?
Peyton Wilson had a tremendous week. He had 6 total tackles. He had 3 of it all by himself and 3 assisted tackles. So my rookie's running away with this. So 6 total tackles. Yeah.
That's quite a lot for a game, isn't it? That's like elite standard, isn't it, for one game?
It just means that Steelers defense run far too much.
Yeah, and also he didn't even start as well, so he actually came into the game midway through and still put those numbers up.
Even
So
more impressive. But
sounds good. So we've got a clear winner this week.
definitely.
Again.
Random rookie roulette. I think we've had out of 4 weeks, we've both won 2 each, Daz, and Edgy's on 0.
Next week's predictions.
Okay, so Daz, you actually get to go first now because you're our new joint leader, and it makes a change.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? But isn't it close, though? Isn't it close?
It is close, yeah. We got 35, me, and Dazzla and Edgy on 36. So, I mean, after the early Sunday games last week, we all doing really badly. But luckily, we turned it around a bit. So, the Thursday night game is Buccaneers at Falcons.
Yeah, listen, Bucks have had one bad game. They don't lose to a Falcons team.
Not even with Kirko.
Well, if Buccaneers can get 9 points clear at fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go, I think they're fine. We know what Kirk can do on the last drive. He's been there so many times. Buccaneers, they're up by 9. They'll win this one, but I think Buccaneers will win this.
Edgy?
I'm also going for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I reckon in Atlanta, I think the Falcons are due a performance. I think
You've
they're
got a
better
real hard on for Cousins, haven't you? Sorry, I don't want to disparage your family there.
Disparage you, right?
Edgy, I'm of Irish stock. I've got a very large family. I think the Falcons can turn over the Bucks. The Bucks have looked good 3 of the 4 games so far, but in the other one they did look really, really bad. So the Falcons, I reckon, can turn it on this week and win in Atlanta. I'm going to the next game. Jets at Vikings, but not really at Spurs.
Oh, the London game's kicking off, right? Oh, that changes things. The Jacksonville playing.
Not in the Jets and Vikings game.
No, obviously not. I'll go with the Texans then, Jeff.
My first time I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play. I'm quite excited about that. I'm a bit of an Aaron Rodgers fanboy, but only Aaron Rodgers the quarterback, not the person. Who's clearly a dick.
I'm going to go for Vikings on this one.
That's a surprise.
Or is it the slide of Darnold continues? This will be an interesting one. This will be a good game for Darnold. If he can come back and win this one and look good, I think we've got the real Sam Darnolds. If he carries on with the slide of last week, then this could be the Sam Darnolds. So it'll be interesting.
If he comes, because Jets defense is still good.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon if he comes through this one, well,
Yeah,
If he can do it against the Jets defense, he can do it against most defenses.
yeah.
Does it not seem really weird that we're sort of debating who wins between Sam Darnold and Aaron Rodgers, and we've already got a vote for Darnold? Does that not seem?
Not really, because think of it also as the Jets.
The other 53. Okay.
Yeah,
And zero running game for the Jets.
I've Minnesota have done me well all season, so I'm going to stick with that and go with Minnesota.
If I was an idiot, I'd go for the Jets based on
Jets it is then.
But based on absolutely nothing that I've seen so far from them this season. But I think they can be the defense who shut Sam Darnold down. And I think the Jets, in a quite a low-scoring game, will nick this. I think it might be something like 17-13 or something like that. Panthers at Bears.
Talk about low scoring.
I'm going to go. Is it still me going first? Or
You're going first on all of those, if that helps.
Okay, that's fine. So you can copy me. That's fine. So I'm going to go for CJ Stroud's Texans. And I've got the Bears in for this one, just purely because it's playing Panthers.
Yeah, but what about they're playing the Panthers? But not only the Panthers. You got to remember a quarterback. They've got the red unicycle as his name.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the red unicorn, man. Yeah, well, but I don't. It's not good enough for this. The defense. I think the Bears now are expanding the offensive playbook. I think Bears win this by 15.
I'm also going for the Bears. Williams has been steadily getting better. Chicago's defense probably wins them the game again. And I think the red pistol will miss.
I agree. I think the Bears will win this comfortably, like 3 scores or something like that. Ravens at Bengals.
Bengals are poor again this season. So I've gone for the Ravens just purely because Derrick Henry looks to be back fully. And they'll run all over the Bengals.
Their defense looks there for the taking, doesn't it?
Yeah,
at the moment.
Exactly. I know Edge is a big fan of the Bengals, and I'd be surprised if he goes against the Bengals.
Is that one of his teams? I can't remember.
It is one of my unofficial teams. Yeah. So for that reason, I'm going for the Baltimore Ravens because they, based on last week's performance, they pull that out again, even at 3/4 strength.
If the Bengals lose this, they're 1-4, and they'll be 3 games behind, and having lost a divisional game. It's a big old game for the Bengals, and they'll lose it. Oh, this could be a shit show. Dolphins at Patriots.
Yeah, this is the toilet bowl game of the week. I struggled with this one because it's 2 poor teams, divisional games, and I'm thinking. I originally did go for the Dolphins, but I'm changing it to Patriots because Patriots are at home. I don't think Dolphins are.
You can't put things into the spreadsheet and then change your mind.
Oh, I'm going to have to because I just don't think. Patriots. I saw the at Patriots as well, so yeah, I've got to go Patriots. So no doubt the Dolphins.
I'm also going for the. So it isn't because you picked them.
I think you got 2 teams here with barely any recognizable offense, but the Patriots' defense is okay, whereas the Dolphins is shit. Yeah. And I think the Patriots' defense will do enough to win this game. Browns at Super Bowl favorites, Washington Commanders.
There's only one for me here, Jeff, and that's the Commanders.
2 teams going in completely different directions.
Yeah, that tends to be how most games of football work, though. Yeah. I agree. I think the Browns are quite awful at the moment. Colts at Jaguars.
Look, Trevor Lawrence is poor. They've not won a game this season. They don't look like winning anything, so Colts are me.
Yeah. Assuming that, well, even doesn't matter who's at QB.
It could be Flacco against Lawrence.
It doesn't go Flacco.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for me. Jacksonville just have nothing on either side. So
I agree. I mean, the Colts can beat the Steelers. They can beat the fucking Jaguars.
Yeah.
Biggest game at week, next one?
I think it could be, and it could also be the best game of the week.
Yeah.
Bills at Texans. You got both at 3-1, but Bills coming off of fucking hiding.
Even at 3-1 for the Texans, they can still be a little bit iffy.
They could easily have lost last week.
Yeah, exactly. Stroud, if he turns up, he's a good quarterback. You've got Josh Allen, who's played well, apart from last week. I don't think he was great. He doesn't usually have two bad games, doesn't Josh Allen? Bills are looking to get back into the winning column, so therefore I've gone to go for the Texans.
Obviously, Texans, one of my honest.
Yeah.
The only blight on Texans is their run defense has been poor. The Bills just.
I found this the most difficult one to call. If you were basing it on the first 3 weeks, you'd have the Bills. I think the Texans got out of jail last week. But they haven't been impressive since week 2. So I think the Bills will bounce back, and I think the Bills will just about edge this. Again, 2 bad teams.
Raiders at Broncos.
Amazingly, 2 bad teams who have both won 2 games this season.
How's that even happened?
Yeah, honestly. Raiders at Broncos.
If this were 1990, it's a great game.
It's the game of the defenses, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Raiders. I think I've gone for Raiders, and they've never won when I've gone for them.
I went for Raiders last week and won. And I think you went against them. I know you went for them as well. It was Edgy who went for the Browns, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Raiders, only because I don't think Bo Nix is any good.
I don't think he's any good either.
I do.
You have to. You said he's going to be Rookie of the Year.
I know, yeah.
And you also think Daniel Jones is a great quarterback.
He is a great quarterback.
He grates at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to go
with
Denver. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Rather Denver or Raiders.
They are the only 2 options, right?
Mm.
Can you go for a tie? I suppose you could.
Yeah, you can do. You can go for a home win, road win, tie, or the Texans.
How frequent are ties?
Very rare.
Like how
you might have one a season.
Really? Okay.
Last year there wasn't one. I don't think there was one last year.
If you predict,
the year before there was one or something.
If you predict a tie, do you get like 2 points?
No. Well, but try it. Do you want to try it?
No.
All right.
Game.
Right. I was thinking of putting down a tie because I believe you get 2 points for that. but the only thing I can think of is
anything to catch up.
The Raiders' performance against the Ravens, which out of these 2 teams, that's the only really impressive thing I've seen from either of them this season. So I think because I've seen the Raiders be capable of being quite good for a little bit, I think I might take that. Cardinals at 49ers.
Listen, Cardinals.
Listen. Hey, you. Listen.
Hey, up. Listen here. Cardinals at home last week against Washington, and they got hammered deservedly. But they've had 2 whiffy games now, Cards, back to back. 49ers, you think people are coming back? 49ers all the way for this one?
Agreed. I think they cruise it.
I haven't been this sure of a 49ers win since they played the Vikings.
Where they lost.
Yeah, they lost. But I was still very sure that the 49ers would win. Packers at Rams.
Yeah, Love comes back. He's had a full week of practice as well to go on top. Second half, he showed what he's about, Jordan Love. Rams just depleted every single game. Packers for me.
Can't disagree with any of that. Green Bay for me.
If Rams were at full strength, this would be the game of the week. But they're not. Packers will have too much for them. Giants at Seahawks.
Yeah, it's like Edgy said earlier. I do like how Seahawks play. I don't think it's hardly ever a dull game at the Seahawks. So I've gone for the Seahawks because I can't stand the Giants.
Yeah, although they lost by quite a margin yesterday, they've got consistency. They still know how to move the ball, know how to score points. Giants don't.
I like the Seahawks as well. I had them at the start of the season I think nearly getting to the playoffs, but narrowly missing out. I think they're a good team. They're certainly better than the Giants, and they're more fun to watch this season than they have been for a few years. So I think they're a bit more fluid without old Piss Pants Pete at the helm. So I think the Seahawks will win this quite comfortably as well. At the home of football, we've got America's team hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Cowboys had a fantastic win last week against the high-powered offense of the New York Giants. So, yeah, Steelers for me.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh Steelers obviously conceded quite a few points last week. They're not going to do that again. And Pittsburgh for me, Jeff.
I think Highsmith will be back, so our defence will be at full strength. And we're just better than the Cowboys. Monday Night Football. Saints at Chiefs.
You know, interesting at this one because it's not straight away you think, oh, Chiefs 4-0. You think, yeah, bang, Chiefs will win this. But with no Rice, Xavier Worthy, you've got Travis Kelce's going to be a key again. They've got a decent defense, Chiefs, but if Derek Carr can get going, you know, again, and the Saints can rumble, I think it'll be a lot closer game with this. So, yeah, Chiefs for me.
Are Saints famous for their rumbling? Okay. I wouldn't think of it, you know, the Saints. If it was Andy Dalton, famously the Red Rumbler, then maybe they'd have more of a chance.
Yeah. I think momentum's going to play a huge part here. And the Saints lack it at the moment, don't they? And although uncertainty over Kansas can even get some wide receivers on the field, it's Kansas to just find that way, don't they? So
Mahomes is going to have to start playing better.
Yeah, definitely. And like we said before, that Kelsey's the team are going to have to step up. I want to pick the Saints, but I can't.
Okay, then Saints it is then.
No, but I can't, so I've got to go with Kansas.
I think this would have been a chance of an upset if we were rolling into week 3 and the Saints are off the back of those two high-scoring performances. Confidence would be up, but I think that confidence has taken a dent the last 2 weeks. They're 2-2 because they're a 50-50 team, and they'll be 2-3 at the end of this game because the Chiefs will beat them. Oh no, it was just an email from. I thought I had an email from them saying you've got a Patreon, but what probably hasn't helped is I haven't actually told anyone what our Patreon is.
Oh yeah.
All right. So our Patreon is live, and it's patreon.com/QBSCpod, and there's room for one person.
Just one.
Get in while you can, folks. Come on.
And as I'm saying this, it's the 1st of October. So anyone who joins today gets the whole month to be our Patreon.
There can't be only one.
But yeah, but they get to be it for the whole month. But at the end of the month, you get banned and you can't be our Patreon anymore. So you get to be the Patreon for 1 month, for $1.
QBSCpod@gmail.com.
He's such a huge man.